Now more than ever, we need to be looking at our cultures, looking at our history to see what solutions, what shared tools and agendas we can bring to these global problems.
Never doubt that a small group of committed people can change the world.
17th and 18th of March 2022, Toyota Communications, in partnership with the British Council, will be holding a symposium on decolonization and cultural heritage in Africa. This symposium is a follow-up of a 2020 symposium in which we are discussing cultural heritage for inclusive growth, and we are building on that conference. Now, decolonization is a very important topic in Africa because the decolonial project did not stop at independence. Decolonization needed to continue or needs to continue at so many levels. So we have political decolonization, but there is also economic decolonization as well as cultural decolonization. Now, when you talk about cultural heritage, you are talking about both tangible and intangible heritage. There are those critical, values that we have in Africa, as well as heritage points and reference points which we have in Africa, some of which, and most of which actually, predate the colonial period, because the communities in Africa existed before colonialism, and they had a life, they had energy, they had value system, they had foods, they had celebrations, they had institutions that governed the transfer of rights and so forth. But of course, most of these institutions as well as values were disrupted at colonialism. And at different points of the encounter with Europe, Africa responded and resisted some of those values that came from Europe, including the ways in which resources were individualized other than used for the benefits of the community generally. So this week we'll be looking at some of those issues. What is it that Africa lost because of its encounter with Europe, and what has it retained? How can we make cultural heritage more inclusive so that young people, the youth of Africa, as well as those communities that live in rural areas as well as in urban areas, can benefit from the knowledge and the heritage that has been passed through generations? We're also very, very interested in the built environment in Africa. Africa is urbanizing very, very quickly, and we have infrastructural growth. We have all sorts of things that are happening in our urban areas. And we're asking the question, to what extent is cultural heritage integrated in urban development? To what extent is cultural heritage part of the infrastructural development of Africa? So we do environmental assessment studies, but do we do cultural assessment studies when we are constructing our roads? The roads are fantastic, they enable mobility, movement, but we should also be celebrating culture and so on. We're also interested in shifting the narrative about African contribution to civilization. We know that there are a lot of resources, both human as well as artifacts located in Europe as well as the United States of America, and we are asking the question, to what extent are those resources which belong to Africa but are located in Europe, to what extent can they be brought back to benefit the people of Africa? And what is the role of Western institutions in this process? So these are critical points of engagement. Another area of intense conversation relates to the use of technology. How can we leverage on technology to deal with issues of climate change, and also drawing on community indigenous knowledge systems? We know that our communities have been resilient. They have done a lot to struggle against climate change over the years, but to what extent are we harvesting that knowledge and making it serve us at the present time? To what extent are we leveraging on information technology to ensure that those young people who do not have access to the physical spaces where our heritage is located can actually enjoy that heritage on their mobile phones, as well as on their computers. So these are some of the areas that we want to be able to discuss this week. The symposium will be streamed live. It will be available live at different spaces on Facebook, on Twitter. It will be live on YouTube. And we really hope that everybody can join us so that together we can find solutions for the continent of Africa and make cultural heritage inclusive and available to all of us. Thank you very much.